Welcome to this short recording that will help you get information about studying geography at GCSE. So why might we want to study geography at GCSE? Geography is a key subject for understanding the world today. So it is one of the only subjects that looks at a wide range of different things about how the world works and allowing you as a student to understand and extend your knowledge of global issues that encompass both natural and human processes. The course that we do gives you an issue-based curriculum, so this gives you questions all the way through that we then work at answering as we go through the course. Some of the ones that we touch on are things like, can the Earth cope with 8 billion people? How can we solve global poverty? How should we protect the Amazon rainforest? And then coming back much more locally, come down to things like, why does Whitney flood? So if you are a student that is interested in the kind of things that we have been doing in Key Stage 3 in geography and those issues that we have looked at and the framework that we have kind of learnt about things in terms of global democracy and global movement to improve the world for everybody, then this is the subject that you should be considering and thinking about taking at GCSE. So how does it work? Well, there are 3 units. So we do across the 2 years. So these are big units. So we think about changing places and changing economies. And that takes in a thing called urbanisation and contrasting global cities. So this is similar to the stuff that you're doing in the geography of Asia at the moment, to do with how cities grow and how they develop and some of the issues that we find in cities, but also some of the good things about them. And we look at cities not just in Asia, we look at cities in India and Australia and the UK and many other parts of the world. We then look at a topic on urban and rural processes and change in the UK, which allows us to look at both cities and rural environments and thinking about some of the links between those and how things are changing over time in the UK. And then we think about the global perspectives on development issues. So this is stuff like poverty issues and inequality around the world, and starting to look at kind of resource use and how people are affected by natural disasters and things like this. Our second unit, changing environments, is much more to do with physical geography. So we look at coasts and coastal management, rivers and river management, weather and climate change, both the causes and the effects of climate change. And these are all really nice units that you have done the building blocks for at Key Stage 3, but we take them much further at GCSE and start to think about some of the science behind how coasts and rivers work with their kind of hydrological environments, but also kind of weather and climate, how the atmosphere is working with oceans and land and things like this. And then our last unit is called Environmental Challenges, and this thinks about how ecosystems function. We think about how ecosystems are under threat from human activity. We think about water resources, and that links a lot into global development issues. And then we think of desertification, which is this process whereby land around the world is turning into desert, primarily because of human activity. And we look at the reasons why that's happening, and then we think about some of the things that can be done to stop that happening so much. So you can see it's quite an issue, current issues GCSE. There are lots of things in here that we talk about and that we see in lessons, and then when you switch the news on at night, or you hear it, or you look at articles, it's the same stuff coming up in the real world. And there are lots of things in here that we're teaching you about how to assess and make your own judgments on those global issues and those things that are really dominating the 21st century. So how will you be assessed? So there are 3 geography papers, and it's all based on exams at the end of year 11. So there isn't any coursework, it is 3 exams. So the first unit, which takes up 40% of your mark, is called Investigating Geographical Issues, and that gives you questions on all 3 of the units that we've just described on the previous slide. Then we have a second paper which takes 30% of your mark, which is called problem solving geography. So this is where you're given a geographical issue. So you get a big resource booklet with the exam paper, and it takes you through an issue that you'll be familiar with because it's linked into at least one of the topics that we have studied, often more than one. But it will be giving you new information that you haven't necessarily seen before, and it's asking you to assess that information, to have a look at solutions to problems that are caused by the problem that they've highlighted, and then to start thinking about how that can be solved and you making a judgment about what you think is the best way to solve that issue that's being identified. And then our third unit exam paper is about fieldwork. So again, this is a 30% of your mark is this paper, and it examines your understanding of fieldwork and research. And this is based on you doing 2 days of fieldwork through the 2 years of GCSE. So we have to set up fieldwork that is related to aspects of your course, and that's set by the exam board every year. And we take you to different places that are relevant to what the exam board want you to have a look at and examine. In the recent past, we've been to Cardiff to look at urban issues. We've been to Tar Lakes in just near Whitney to have a look at sustainable development and sustainable environments. And we've also had students go down to Studland Bay in Dorset to look at coastal processes and things like this. So there's lots of nice trips and things at those 2 days going out and getting involved. And that's a really popular part of the GCSE course that people really enjoy and really like doing. So, what skills and qualities will you need as a geographer? I think the first thing to know is that having worked through Key Stage 3 with us, you have done and worked on a wide range of all of the skills that we think you need to know for GCSE. So we plan our Key Stage 3 curriculum so that you are experienced at and know the skills that you will need when you get to GCSE. So it isn't really a step up in terms of the skills and the things we're asking you to do. If you take GCSE geography, it's a step up in terms of the depth of detail that you can go into your work, because you have 5 lessons a fortnight rather than 3. But the skills and the things that you really need to do to excel at GCSE geography is an awareness of the world around you and an interest in the issues and ideas that are trending globally. So it is that open mind and that interest in what's going on, and that wanting to find out answers that are never ever going to be simple, and you're always looking at the complexities of different things that are combining to cause the major issues that we see in the world, but also to look for solutions and ways that those ideas can be addressed, and issues that we see and problems in the world can be solved, because they can be, and there are lots and lots of ideas out there that people are trying, and we study those at GCSE and start to think about how effective those may be. The other thing to know about geography in general is it's an excellent link between both scientific knowledge and understanding, so primarily on the physical side of the course, but there's a lot of that in human geography as well, understanding the kind of social science of what's going on, and more humanities-based learning in the human side of the course. So thinking you've got links to history, you've got links to sociology that you could do at A-level, you've got links to economics that you can do at A-level, and all of these different things as well. So it's a really nice subject for tying in lots of other subjects that you do. We have lots of stuff across the 2 years where we stand in front of people and say, well, this you've learnt about in chemistry, or you've learnt about in biology, or you've learnt about this issue when you've been doing certain novels in English or in history and things like this. So there's a really nice crossover between geography and lots of other subjects. So it can become a really good subject for kind of linking lots of things together. And that's also really nice when you start to come and think about going forwards in and beyond GCSE, because it can be really good for tying other more disparate subjects together then as well. So I hope that's given you a little bit of an idea about kind of what's in the course, what we want people to be thinking about when we're doing it, and all the kind of things you need to be interested in to decide that this is a course for you. If you've got any other questions, do get in touch with your geography teacher or with me, Mrs. Waugh, and we can answer those and give you any further information that you need. Thanks for listening.